Just a touch of context. I'm not small. I'm 6 feet 7 inches tall, and about 13-14 stone. However, when seated, I look a lot shorter. My height is all in my legs. My wife, however, is small, and I dunno, maybe it's the caveman in me, but I'm quite protective. What she says goes though. She certainly wears the trousers. Anyway, EP, entitled parent LS, little shit her child ME, your host through this journey. W, the woman of my dreams. This happened over the weekend. My wife is 6 months pregnant. She was one of those unlucky few that look pregnant almost immediately. So at 6 months she looks pregnant. Enter a nice walk to our favorite local cafe for breakfast. It's really early. She wakes up at about 5 in the morning and she wanted food by 7. I ordered the full English because I'm a man who needs manly food. My wife orders the same because fuck you, she's pregnant. We are having a nice chat about the show You, which is fantastic. BTW, if you haven't seen it yet. It's just hit 8 AM. It's still dead quiet in the cafe, which is exactly how we like it. We're sitting outdoors in an uncharacteristically warm February. Along comes LS. LS is about 4'5" at a push. LS decides to strike up a conversation with my wife, asking why she was so fat. Already I'm looking at this kid like the fuck. I'm looking around for some form of parent, when I see a woman smoking a short distance away talking on her phone. My wife isn't made of cottage cheese, so she laughed and said it's because she's making a baby. LS looked confused as hell. The talk about where babies come from had clearly not happened in this family. LS is working this out though. You could see the cog spinning in his tiny mind at 1,000,000 miles an hour, trying to work out how fat girl equal baby. He just says the word, how. I don't know how other people explain it. Some do the stoic story. Some say a cabbage patch. Others say boning. Me, I'm planning on using special cuddle, because it's not exactly a lie, and I don't want to lie to my kids. But I don't know what LS's own parents want to do, so I said ask your mum mate. LS runs off with a grin towards the smoking woman. We continue to eat, chuckling at how strange a conversation that just was, when EP enters stage left. EP, why did you tell my son babies come from women's bellies? W, because it's true. EP, that's not what I wanted him to know. ME, well, to be fair, we didn't tell him anything. He came to that conclusion on his own. My wife just said she is growing a baby. I'm already getting irritated by this woman. She has a "can I speak to the board of directors" haircut and a face like someone hit her with a number 25 bus. That's when LS hit my wife's bump. It came out of nowhere. I was stunned at what I just witnessed. It took a few seconds to register, but W is already pushing this little shit away from her. EP, how dare you push my son? He's a good boy. W, how dare your son hit my bump, you crazy bitch? EP is rolling her eyes and sarcastically replies with the following. EP, it didn't hurt. See, it was at this point I returned to myself, because this mid-30s woman just slapped my wife's stomach. I have to intervene in the story here and apologize. I don't advocate violence against anyone. Hitting someone, hurting them in any way, it's not cool. That's my morals anyway. My morals became suddenly absent. I stood up, and this woman barely came to my chest. She took a step back, and her little shitbag kid looked like he was about to cry. I figure, my height is enough to make this waste of blood and organs leave. Wrong. Trying my hardest not to break this woman's jaw, I simply said fuck off. Big mistake. She exploded. Which was her mistake. She exploded, and so did I. EP, how dare you speak to me like that? She tries to slap me, but I grabbed her wrist and I didn't let it go. I squeezed and squeezed. She screams out that I'm hurting her, but I'm too far gone. I've seen red. The fact I didn't punch her is frankly amazing. Some people really do deserve a punch in the mouth, but I'm male. There's no way I win in this fight. My wife comes to her rescue, and W, babe, stop. She's learned her lesson, haven't you? I let go of EP's wrist. She clutching it like I've broken her arm, and she runs away from the cafe pulling her little shit son with her. I've never been angry to that degree in front of my wife before, and I'm instantly apologizing that she had to see that, but she is totally fine. If anything, she found it a little funny. She has never seen me angry in the 7 years we have been together. I obviously check if she's alright, and of course she is fine. We finish our food, and head back inside to pay. When in enters two community support officers and EP and LS, she is screaming about how I nearly broke her arm and how my bitch wife tried to attack her son. Community support come up to me and ask if this is true, to which I reply yes, it is true. After she slapped my wife's belly and then tried to slap me, the CSO instantly has a look of "I knew you were going to say that" on his face. He turned to the woman and said, "CSO, did you honestly expect me to believe a man and a pregnant woman came out of nowhere and attacked you and your son unprovoked, and for no clear reason?" EP's face turns paler than a ginger girl's arse, then bright pink in clear embarrassment. CSO turns to my wife and asks if she wants to press any charges, to which she says no. She simply cannot be bothered. But EP was escorted clear away from the two of us. CSOs wished us a nice day and a congratulations, and that was the end of that. I don't know if she got arrested or anything, or banned from the area, and frankly, if I had no fingers you could count on one of my hands how many fucks I give. Sorry in advance, I'm far better at telling stories where I'm not involved in any way. The writing must have been terrible. TL. Dr. Wife's pregnant. EP slaps pregnant belly. I grab wrist and squeeze. EP gets cop. Cop calls her a fucking idiot. Lol, EP is a fucking dumbass. But let's be honest here, they all are keck. So for some context, I'm a 17-year-old male and I work at a Segway tour company. It's actually really fun. I get to ride Segways around the city and talk to people, and get paid to do it. Plus the tipping isn't bad. So anyway, there was a tour booked a couple of days ago and I came in about 20 minutes early to answer emails and get everything ready. The group shows up, mother and daughter, and that's when things get interesting. I'm not going to insult your intelligence by telling you what EP and me stand for, but D equal daughter and FBI equal Federal Bureau of Investigation, just for some useful info. EP and D come in and I check them in. Me: alright, I have some waivers for you to sign. D: how old are you? D: 16. Me: okay, then you don't need to sign a waiver. I ask this because if kids are younger than 18, their parents sign the waivers for them, but EP only heard me say the first part, not when I said D didn't need to sign a waiver, so she thought I was just asking her daughter how old she was. This was probably what started it all. We go on the tour, and while I'm giving my spiel, EP keeps interrupting me to tell me stuff about D and find if we are compatible. Me: and so this non-profit organization opened in. EP: are you in college? Me: hi, no, I'm a junior in high school. I'm usually pretty free with info about myself on tours because it helps keep people relaxed and initiates conversations during lulls in the tour. Plus it helps with tipping. EP: oh, D is also a junior, she is an artist. Stuff like this keeps happening throughout the tour, and every time, D gets redder and redder. My mom does this too, where she just tells random all attendants about me, so I know what D is going through and I feel her pain. At the end of the tour, I tell the two of them that they have 15 minutes to go around the town and then they can meet me back at the Segway place. I get back and start getting things set up for their return. They roll in, pardon the pun, and I take their Segways to start charging them. EP: so what do you think of my daughter? Me: pardon me, what? EP: I saw you checking her out during the tour. Are you gonna ask her out? D: mom, stop. Me: ma'am, I just recently got out of a relationship and I'm really not looking for anything right now. EP: what? Me: huh? EP: is my daughter not good enough for you? Me: no, that's not it. I just said that I just got out of a relation. EP: you are going to date my daughter and that's final. Me: you can't tell me what to do. I'm not your kid, and if I don't want to date your daughter I don't have to. Besides, you haven't even asked her if she wants to date me. D: yeah, I don't want to date him. Me: see? EP: I'm going to call your boss and tell him about your terrible customer service. You're never going to work in City Name again. Me: pulling out my phone. Alright, you want to call him and explain the situation, how you're trying to force me to date your daughter and get me fired for saying no. Then I guess the absurdity of the situation finally sunk in, and her face transitioned from pure rage to slight confusion. EP: wait, maybe I don't want to. Me: no, let's call him. Start to go through my contacts, and press my boss's name. Let's have this conversation. EP: I don't think that's a good idea. Phone starts ringing. EP: D: let's go. EP runs out the door. D turns to me and says, I'm sorry, and then follows her mom. I hang up the phone before my boss answers and start cleaning the segways. I have some more stories from my work. You'll tell me if you wanna hear more. OP got lucky he got an entitled parent that wasn't fully fucking retarded and at least could realize her retardation. I made a post here a couple days ago and got reminded of this story when talking to a friend yesterday. It's for some backstory. This happened about a year ago when I was working as a restaurant manager. I was kinda a jack of all trades. I was serving customers, managing, guiding all other staff members. I prepared the restaurant before opening every day and solved whatever problems occurred from the time I arrived until closing time. Our cast: EM, entitled mother, BB, birthday boy, W, waitress, me, you guessed it, me, P. So, I was just doing my thing, serving tables, keeping everyone happy and keeping everything going smooth until I heard some ruckus at a table near the one I was serving. I look over and see W arguing with EM over something. I didn't really pay attention to it because it happens from time to time. A couple minutes later W taps me on the shoulder and asks for some help. I say sure. What's up? And she said she had some trouble dealing with one of the customers. For some context, W was a 17-year-old girl that helped us out on the weekends as a side job. She started working about 2 months before all of this happened. She picked everything up really quick, so it was rare for her to ask for help unless it was to lift up something heavy. She told me that EM wanted her to sit on BB's lap because it was his birthday yesterday. W obviously refused, so EM started to argue about it. The argument I spotted earlier, and W just walked away. I told her to just ignore it for now, and if it didn't stop or it escalated in any way, to come get me. I said this just to see if EM was maybe joking, and W didn't pick up on it. I wasn't there, so it was hard to judge. W nodded and continued her work. Everything went pretty smooth until suddenly I heard W scream my name. Me and everyone else in the restaurant stopped what I was doing and rushed over to see what was happening. When I turned the corner, I saw EM grabbing W and trying to force her onto BB's lap. I ran over and pulled EM off W. EM instantly started screaming at me to let her go. I told her to sit down and then we'll talk. EM calmed down a bit and actually sat down. Then I noticed a tray and a couple broken glasses laying on the floor. I turned and asked W if she was okay. She told me she was fine now, but dropped the tray when EM suddenly grabbed her. I told her not to worry about it and asked her to clean it up while I dealt with EM. I turned back around and saw that EM had gotten pretty impatient. BB was super embarrassed and his friends were just sitting there in silence. Most of the customers had continued doing whatever they were doing, but there were definitely people looking over. I calmly asked EM what happened. Not that I didn't know what happened, but I just wanted to hear her side of the story. EM, it was BB's birthday yesterday and he turned 18. He was just talking about how cute he thought that waitress was, while pointing at W. Me, okay, EM, so I asked her to sit on BB's lap for a bit to make this day extra special for him, but she refused. Me, rightfully so. EM, she is being paid to serve us, right? What's the harm in just sitting on his lap for a minute? Me, she is paid to serve you drinks, not to sit on people's laps. Besides that, she doesn't want to sit on people's laps. She doesn't know you or your son. Why would she be comfortable with sitting on his lap? And what's the problem? He won't hurt her. Me, that doesn't matter. She doesn't want to sit on his lap. End of story. Now please drop it or I'll have to ask you to leave. And this is unacceptable. You can't kick me out. Let me talk to the manager. Me, you are talking to the manager. EM, you're lying. You can't be the manager. Me, why not? EM, you are way too young. I was 21 at the time. Me, believe it or not, I am the manager here. I wanna talk to the owner then. Me, he is not here today. At this point, EM grabbed her drink, a full glass of red wine, stood up and threw it in my face while screaming, "Stop fucking lying to me." The restaurant dropped dead silent and I'm furious. Me, while trying to stay calm, pay and get out. No, you can't kick us out and I'm not gonna pay for this. Me, you reserved this table draw for our website, which means we have all your contact info. If you refuse to pay, we can just send you a bill. So I suggest you pay for your meal, the glasses you broke, and leave. I didn't break those glasses. She dropped them, again pointing at W. I was done at this point, so I apologized to the BB and his friends, but EM left me no choice. BB was very embarrassed, but he and his friends understood. I once again asked EM to just pay or she will be billed later with some extra administration fees, of course. After a small argument about the broken glasses, she refused to pay and walked out to BB and his friends who were waiting for her outside. While closing the door, she yelled, "Thanks for ruining his birthday party." A week later, BB came back with his friends without EM to have a second attempt at celebrating his birthday, and we had a great time. BB apologized to W for EM's behavior and all was good. EM was billed and reminded twice. She still refused to pay, so she got a visit from a debt collected and was forced to pay 150% of the original bill we sent her. This all happened about a year ago, and I had to translate a bunch from Dutch to English, so the conversations aren't 100% accurate, but I did my best to get it as close as possible. Sorry for the low quality text there, but we all know you're not here to read anyways. This EM sounds a lot like the last one, except this one is fully retarded.